Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
What's up, guys?
What's going on, dude?
Not too much. Just waiting for the weekend to start.
Now, tell me about Godzilla, King of the Monsters, what you heard.
Sure. So this has been pretty big. I guess this article came out either yesterday or today. I saw it today,
Yeah.
and I read it today. This was on Yahoo, and this is apparently coming from somebody who has kind of like an in with the executives at Legendary Pictures, of course, the production company that helped put out Godzilla, King of the Monsters and whatnot.
Right.
Basically the head of the Monsterverse here, as well as the article entailed some stuff from analysts and whatnot that were looking at what was going on.
Okay.
The main the main thing that people keep quoting, again, from this person who says that they have kind of like an inside source or they're close to the executives at Legendary, is saying that while yes, Legendary is disappointed with the box office for King of the Monsters,
Okay.
they're saying that they're not looking at this as like the end of the world.
Oh.
And that the like idea of the end of the Monsterverse is not really something that they're putting a lot of stock into. So, but basically what they said that they're saying is that they're taking this as kind of like a learning experience and kind of like a stepping stone in the franchise, and that they're really going to see what Godzilla vs. Kong does, because apparently they have a lot of confidence in that one. Right. So if that does well, the Monsterverse will apparently continue.
Oh.
Along with this, they're saying that I guess there is some sort of plan for after Godzilla vs. Kong, should the Monsterverse continue.
Now, do you think that they feel they messed up because they released that at a wrong time and they know that?
Well, I'll get to that in a second, because I do want to kind of address something about this article.
Okay. None
of this came directly from Legendary.
Okay.
So I am not buying this 100%.
Okay.
I do actually think that this is accurate, because they don't really have a choice with Godzilla vs. Kong. You know what I'm saying? It's already basically they're in post-production right now. However, I think that it's easy to say that right now when you don't have the final numbers on your desk and you see exactly what this did. So, you know, while I think that whoever is reporting this is most likely right, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, this is exactly what Legendary's thinking, because I obviously can't do that, and nobody should be doing that. Right. So
let me ask you a question now. Obviously, it's not going to be the first 2014 Godzilla.
No.
But with the budget that they used and everything, it might break even, right?
Potentially.
So that's not really a loss if it breaks even. But they want to show profitability, of course.
Right. It's not a loss if it breaks even, but the two things about that are, one, it's even struggling to do that. However, this weekend might actually save it a bit, because as a lot of you know or don't know, Dark Phoenix completely tanked.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's the worst X-Men movie that's been made, from what I've heard. So I've heard a lot of people saying that there are reviews coming out saying, don't go see Dark Phoenix, go see King of the Monsters because it's better. So that might be, maybe this weekend we'll bring it up a little bit. I don't know.
Well, as of today, from Thursday's numbers, 193 million.
Yeah.
And domestically 63. Now, it's going to jump this weekend. I know it's going to jump this weekend. I mean, we're going to probably get close to 249 with the foreign numbers and everything, probably about 250 by Monday. And then it's just, you know, I think we'll make more than 300 million. But we need to do more, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to wait and see. And it also depends, too, like maybe it won't leave the box office for a little while. Maybe it'll stay in the top 10, and maybe it could get like 350 out of it or whatever, or even, you know, the foreign numbers is a big key to, you know, because we could have a number 2 opening for this, like the second week, and it could bring in like another 40 million, and then overseas can bring in 100 million. So I'm gonna have a little more faith this time, I think, because this is gonna be a better view this week, because now that they know that there's nothing to see, that the X-Men suck and everything else, I think we might have a strong second week.
Yeah. So to kind of address what you were saying before, with the when this was released and whatnot, I definitely think that the projections from back then, because I honestly think Legendary knew this was going to happen. I'm convinced at this point, even though this article is saying that they're disappointed, which would lead to the idea that maybe they didn't know and that's why they're disappointed. Personally, I think they had a feeling about this, and that's why some of these things took place, like the review embargo and then the other protection, these other things that happened.
But if they had a feeling about it, why even release it then? Why couldn't they release it at a different time?
Because they had already removed the release date once, if I remember correctly, and they were locked in on this one.
Okay.
So I think this had a lot to do with what beforehand, I should say. I think this had a lot to do with why they moved Godzilla vs. Kong, because I honestly think that had this movie come out in March, potentially, this may have done better.
Well, here's another thing, though. Maybe not, because Captain Marvel was out, and Shazam was right around the corner. I mean, there was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I honestly think, though, because Shazam, I think they probably would have moved, because that's also Warner Brothers, so they don't want that to be competition with King of the Monsters had they done it. As far as Captain Marvel goes, there are a lot of people that were turned off by that, and this probably would have been good counter programming for that. So I honestly think that had it come out in a reasonable time, it probably would have done better in March, which is why I think Godzilla vs. Kong is coming out in March. Now that's the one. See, that's going to be, because I keep going back and forth in my head with that one, because I'm sitting here like, okay, if nobody went to see Godzilla King of the Monsters, right, that same audience is probably not going to go see Godzilla vs. Kong.
Not necessarily, though.
No, well, let me finish. However, because the word of mouth for this one was so good, and because Kong is a bigger name than Mothra, Rodan, and Ghidorah, that might potentially make people go see it, one, for the spectacle, and two, because they're like, hey, that last one I heard was really good. I should go see this one this time. Yeah. That might even it out. So if that does well, then that's good. If that one doesn't do well, that's it. It's done. Right. So I don't know.
Now, I want your thoughts on this Warner Brothers situation, that they're not going to be at the they're not going to show Wonder Woman. They're not going to show Birds of Prey. What's going on with that?
They're focusing on their horror movies. That's apparently they're doing some sort. I can't remember. They have a name for it. It's like Scare something, and I guess that they're really pushing their horror movies this year.
Now, is Warner Brothers Conjuring?
I don't know, actually.
Okay. So that's. So in other words, I mean, you saw the picture of Wonder Woman in 1984, right?
I did. Yeah.
Don't you think it looks ridiculous?
I'm not really a big fan of that poster. To be honest with you, I wasn't really a huge fan of the Godzilla vs. Kong poster that they made. I don't know what it is with this color saturation thing that they're
trying to do some out of the 80s, but it's just too colory.
Yeah, I mean, they did the same thing with G vs. K, and it's like, okay, it looks okay, but then the Wonder Woman one came out, and I was like, why are you guys doing this? What is the...
They're trying to be the 80s. That's what they're trying to do.
I mean, the Wonder Woman one made sense, but...
Yeah, but still, I think they're gonna mess up. I don't know about that movie. Now, Birds of Prey is rated R, right?
I guess.
That's what I heard. Oh, boy. Now, we heard today that Kevin Hart is going to reboot Scrooged. That was from Bill Murray. I'm not crazy about that.
Yeah, I hear the crickets chirping with that one.
Yeah, not happy about that. And then we got word tonight that Sigourney Weaver is reprising her role as Dana Barrett in Ghostbusters 3. And she says that she is going to join Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson. Now, I thought that they were only cameoing, but like I guess that's going to be more than a cameo then.
It sounds like it.
So you know what? This is what I think is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen this way, but I have a feeling that probably, Ray is living in this town and probably maybe had a nervous breakdown, maybe had like a thing, maybe he's older, like traumatized, like maybe, Egon died or whatever, and he's just, working on the Ghostbuster gear. For some reason, the kids, to see this, all this stuff going on with the spirits, they decide to steal the Ghostbuster equipment, get into trouble, and then Dan Aykroyd has to reach out to the other Ghostbusters to help them. Because before we were led to believe it's just the kids. I doubt that. I think it's going to be the Ghostbusters because they're going to have a wow, like an oh my god moment because they get in trouble. They start fighting amongst themselves. They're in deep crap, and the Ghostbusters come out of retirement to help them battle this entity or whatever. And then they're like, oh my god, and they're fans of the Ghostbusters. So I think
it might be that. Might be the app. Like it might be the reverse of that too, where the original ones get in trouble, and then these two try to help them.
Well, it's 4 of them actually, I think, right?
Or these 4, yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah. So that's
because if they're doing like a passing the torch kind of thing, which seems to be really popular now,
do it reversal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's got to pass the torch lately.
I mean, honestly, either way, that doesn't really sound like a bad setup.
No.
Like, I mean, I know it's not the ideal thing that everybody was hoping, but unfortunately that ship has sailed. So I mean,
yes.
this is probably a good substitute for that.
Right.
As long as it's executed well.
So John Cena is confirmed for Fast and the Furious 9.
He is. I'm ecstatic about that because that means he won't be wrestling.
No offense to
John Cena.
And Black Adam, they got what do they got? A director?
Yeah, that's one of those other DC movies that's out there in the void. Like, we're gonna make it at some point.
Now there was something about the Flash. They're gonna recast the Flash, huh? For the movies?
They should just recast everybody that's not Aquaman and Wonder Woman at this point.
I think that's what they're basically doing, with the exception of Superman, which I think they're giving Superman a break, and then you're just gonna have Supergirl involved in there, and maybe they're gonna have it that nobody knows where he is or where Lois is or whatever. So now we got news about the economy, the signs of things changing, and it looks like Entertainment Weekly will now be called Entertainment Monthly because they can't afford to put out stuff every week, and people are not buying magazines like they used to. So that's a huge thing. And Vera Farmiga had posted a picture from the Conjuring 3 set, not to be confused with Annabelle 3. This is Conjuring 3. So that's going on. I'm just wondering what they're going to do after that because they haven't made any announcements about any sequels to anything else in the Conjuring universe.
Do you remember when there was that rumor that the Conjuring 3 was going to be about werewolves?
Yes.
I kind of want to see that just for the sheer hilarity of it.
I don't, because it'll mean the end.
Yeah.
That'll be the Superman 3 of the Conjuring.
It's true.
And I don't need to see that. I saw clips from that Krypton thing. Are they serious?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Apparently that show did really well on Sci-Fi, though, so I don't...
Did it really?
I mean, it's Sci-Fi, so I'm assuming anything that has marginally good ratings is considered great. But I heard that a lot of people liked it. They had a better Doomsday than they did in Batman vs. Superman. So, I mean...
Jesus.
But I saw that Lobo thing, and I was like, wow, he lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, I know, right? Looks like a scrawny... Wow. So anything else going on? Do we have anything else?
I know that a lot of people were talking about the Joker, that the script leaked, or there was like
I read the whole thing, and I'm like, oh no. What do you think?
Honestly, I actually think it sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, like, obviously I didn't see it, so I don't know how it was executed or how it plays out on the screen. But from what I heard, like the stuff that they did, there's actually some pretty interesting stuff in it, which again, has to play out well. But
yeah, they said that Robert De Niro is like Oscar worthy or something from it.
Yeah,
good luck with
not
that.
Gonna win it for that movie, but
Yeah, good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about Tom Holland working on the Uncharted movies?
So is he playing Nathan Drake?
Pretty much. He's probably going to play a younger version. I don't know if they're going to have like Nathan Fillion as the older version, maybe, but I
was really confused by that because like I didn't know if it was supposed to be like a younger version makes sense, but like is that what people are looking for out of an Uncharted movie?
I don't know. I mean, like, did you see when Nathan Fillion did his own thing with it?
Yeah, I liked that. I mean, it was a little cheesy at times, but like I liked it.
I loved it. So, I mean, why don't they just get him? What's the big deal?
I don't know. Like, I see that's one of those weird Hollywood things where it's like the blueprint has been laid out for you. Just follow the instructions.
Right.
But they're like, no, we're gonna do it better. And it's like, no, you're not gonna do it better. And then you're gonna wonder why the movie didn't work. Like,
well, look at that movie that they made with Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley that they can never release now. It was so bad.
What was that? I didn't even hear that.
There was a movie that they filmed. They tried to reshoot it, and they're not even going to release it because they don't want it to destroy their careers.
Oh.
Allegedly. So bad. Like, really bad. And there's no way to save it. So they're just not going to let you see it.
Oh, well, that's horrible.
Yeah. So I guess the person that directed and wrote that is never going to get a job again. It's crazy. Who the hell is Bronze Tiger in Suicide Squad?
Got me.
I mean, you're a DC guy. You don't know who he is?
Nope. I'm a DC.
Is that the guy from Arrow? Is that the guy from Arrow that had like the Wolverine blades or some shit?
I don't watch Arrow. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So, I get what else is going on. Anything else? Star Wars or no?
I've been looking for like Star Wars news, but I haven't really seen anything like ridiculous come out. I know that the third Thrawn book, I think that comes out next month, so I'm looking forward to that.
That's pretty cool.
That second one was so good. Thrawn Alliance. Yeah. I couldn't believe how good that was. I was expecting it to be good because the first one was good. Yeah. This was so much better. This was ridiculously good. Wow. I definitely recommend that to anybody who's looking for Star Wars stuff.
Okay.
Read that.
Definitely gotta check that one when I get a chance. What are you watching lately? Any shows or no?
I've been going through Game of Thrones pretty quickly.
Okay.
I'm on season 7.
Wow, that's pretty fast from the last time.
I'm almost done. I definitely seasons 1 and 2. I was like, this show's terrible.
Right.
Like this is really bad. 3 started to pick up for me. So from 3 to 7, I've really liked it. I have issues with this show. Like I still think it's a bit overrated for what it is.
Right.
But I do like it. My favorite part of the show is ironically the character interactions. Like my favorite parts of the show are just when two people are talking and it's something interesting.
Right.
That they're talking about. That's really where I'm like, oh, I'm invested in this. Yeah. Of course, I like the dragons and the big fight scenes and whatnot. But at times, I'm like they'll talk about something and then 2 seconds later, that what they were just talking about will be done, and I'll be like, I wanted to see that. Like, go back. But
did you like the Red Wedding?
Okay, so funny story. I had heard about the Red Wedding, and I was like, okay, and then it happened. And I didn't know that was it. I thought that there was like another wedding that was worse because I watched this and I was like, that's it? That wasn't that bad.
Well, I mean.
It's like, yeah, okay, they stabbed the pregnant woman. I wasn't a big fan of that.
the thing that was bad. It was that here it is. That guy was groomed to be the leader, like to take the throne. That's Stark, and he went against their rules because there was an arranged marriage, and he went against it. And the mother knew something was going to be up, but they didn't think that guy would stoop that low. And yeah, that was just horrendous. Like they just.
It was okay. So I was like,
they cut the guy's head off. They kicked it like football.
Right. Well, my thing was like, maybe this is just me. I didn't really care about any of those characters. Like, I was just kind of like, oh okay. Right. I like my favorite character. I don't know how this is gonna make me look, but I like Jorah. He's my favorite character. I just find him to be the most interesting. Sometimes I feel like somebody needs to like oil Jon Snow because he's like a robot at times. I'm like, somebody wake him up. Like he's got this face on, like he doesn't know what's going on. Somebody tell him what's happening. I do like him though. It's just like at times I'm like, he's not doing anything.
Do you like
he's just
Maisie
standing.
Williams? Do you like Arya?
Oh yeah. Oh, she's one of the best. Yeah, she's dead. I was like, this is so much better than when I saw her doing Doctor Who.
Yeah.
That was such a crime, what they did to her in that show compared to this.
I mean, the reason they got her was supposedly because Gatiss is in this too. So,
yeah, when he showed up, I was like, oh, there he is, of course.
He while he was there, he's like, hey, you want to do Doctor?
Yeah, but I just got to the part where, and this is actually the best, when they went beyond the wall to capture a Night Walker, a White Walker, to bring back to Cersei to be like, hey, look, what's happening beyond the wall. Yeah. I just saw the Night King kill Viserion, which was cool. Because they did that well because they built up her dragons in the last episode. Yeah. And then he was like, yeah, no, and he just throws a spear and kills it. And I was like, okay, well that's classic WWE. Like, right. One heel makes the other heel look bad, and now they're the top heel. So I'm like, okay.
No chance.
Exactly. So I'm liking it more than I did. I'm looking forward to the end, I guess. See how bad it is, apparently.
Right.
But I think after that, I'm gonna watch the show Chernobyl because I heard that was really good.
Yeah, I heard that's good.
Yeah.
I gave up my HBO though, so but I'm gonna finish Doom Patrol.
Did you hear the news about that?
With Swamp Thing?
No. About that show Chernobyl.
I heard that Russia's doing their own version.
They're doing their own version because they're pissed off about how they made them look in the show.
God.
They said we're gonna do a version that shows what really happened, and apparently it's going to show the CIA sabotaging Chernobyl.
Right, sure.
Because that's what happened. Sure.
So then they spend millions of dollars for a show for no reason. Because they're butthurt about shit. Okay. You got the money. Why not?
Hey.
There you go.
Go to something better, but hey, I guess not.
They could do better. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm Doom Patrol. I am up to episode 10. I think it's 15 episodes. So I will be done with that, and I'm going to be doing the Doctor Who classic review this week.
Well, it's not like you have to watch Swamp Thing anymore.
Dude, I knew something was up. The moment all that stuff was happening, come on.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a huge story arc where everything is intricate and it's going to end in episode 13 and a finale, where it's going to be a cliffhanger into the next season. And then you're doing episode 10 and they're like, oh, let's stop. We're done now. Thanks. Wait, what do you mean? Like, oh, forget about 11, 12, 13. We just stop production. We're done. Like, what? But, what about the story? So I'm assuming that episode 10 is probably going to be like one of those filler episodes that are not going to be mostly tied into the story, but it's going to stand alone.
Right.
And then it's just going to end like that. Because, all that stuff about the tax cuts, to me, is like, if you're relying on the tax cuts to get this thing done, then like your streaming service is in trouble. Like sad. Like when you're committing to doing a series, you make sure you have the money for it. They're trying to get away with not paying anything and getting away with like somebody else paying for it. And the moment that they found out, I guess that they weren't gonna put up the money, like the state, they're like, we're out. It's like, really? So
it definitely doesn't bode well for future things they want to do.
No, let me tell you something right now. You have a thing where people pay every single month. They spend a couple $1 million on an episode, you know, for a series that they probably make like quadruple amounts, right?
Yeah.
But they don't want to like look at CBS All Access.
Yeah.
They didn't pay $1 for Discovery for 2 seasons. Now that contract was up, they announced that it got renewed for a 3rd season because they want to show that they have to pay it, but they don't want to. Like that they're going to pay for the first time, and now that they're spending the money, CBS All Access, and if it doesn't do well, let's see how fast it gets canceled. Because they're paying for it now, which I don't think that's going to even happen. I think that Picard's going to come out, and then they're going to cancel Discovery because they're going to say, first they're going to say some bullshit that they need some more time to film, so we're not going to have anything ready for you until 2022. Then they're going to say, oh, it's canceled. But they're not going to cancel before Picard comes out because that would be bad PR for like the show Picard, you know, because you need some stability with the Trek universe that they have on CBS All Access. So Picard will come out, which now it's amazing how they're changing things overnight because now this is going to turn into Next Generation Part 2 because we have Data who's appearing. So I guess he lived after Nemesis, which I suggested that, yeah, his programming like overrode B4s or whatever. And then you got Riker probably coming back. So like you're basically going to have, because I think they just, I don't know what they're doing right now with Picard, but I know that J.J. Abrams, your buddy, stepped in and caused some issues with the direction of the TV show because he wants to connect it to his timeline and his uniforms and his things, and it's like, no.
Yeah, good work, JJ.
Thanks, JJ. Thanks for screwing up Star Trek 4 and getting it canceled. You know, and we have to wait for Quentin Tarantino now to save the day, which that's not happening because now he got this brainstorm to adapt a comic book, Django and Unchained crossover with Zorro movie, and he's going to try to get Jamie Foxx now. Again, let's go. It's like, oh wow. So whatever plans out the window. Star Trek's pushed back again. All right, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, guys, take care. Bye for now.